to go see Spider-Man No Way Home there, and the problem is my friend Richard is unable to get in because the lateral flow test he didn't have a barcode on it for him to send to the NHS for them to get back to him and make an approval that he's negative and can go in, even though he did take the test outside the cinema and it came back negative. The staff there couldn't accept it. So right now we have to go all the way to Boots in Craigavon.
Can't work out what way is the quickest way to get the fucking Boots.
Alright, hold on then.
Hold on.
We got to run.
No.
We want to double check.
See if Boots is even fucking open.
Alright, yeah, may as well. But where else would be open then? We can't just get a taxi back into the town. Fuck, I don't even know if Boots will be open this time. But, hopefully getting a later showing tonight. So, my friend and I went to see Spider-Man No Way Home at the Omniplex in Craigavon. He pre-booked the tickets online on his phone through the Omniplex app. Now, I did happen to see the Covid-19 notice that have hit on there, and correct me if I'm wrong, or is this misinformation, but where in that notice does it say you have to text the NHS to scan your QR code to verify whether you're positive or negative when you have a COVID test? Where does it say that? Please spell it out to me. At what point does it say you have to send that to the NHS? It pretty much says that they're going to scan it for you, if I'm reading that right, you know. So that's pretty much misinformation and a bit of a, unprofessional move on the Omniplex's part. I'm not speaking for everybody in the Omniplex. I'm just speaking, on whoever it was that made that decision. Why did you do that? So we got a taxi up to Craigavon Omniplex, and I was in my Spider-Man suit because I love him so much. And we got to the door. I'm triple vaccinated. I had my ID on me. My mate Richard wasn't vaccinated because he works 70 hours a week. He works every single day, ironically, at a COVID testing centre, and Christmas is a busy month. Also, he just does not have the time to go and get the vaccination. He really doesn't. He's got the first job, but he hasn't got the next two because of his work schedule. So we went to the door of the Omniplex, and the staff there said that they wouldn't let him in because he didn't have the triple vaccination or his ID. And even though we had a lateral flow test there, he took a lateral flow test right in front of them. They said, we can't accept that there. You need to send that to the NHS, have them verify whether it's positive or negative, and then show it to us. So he took the test, and none of the staff could tell us the name of the app, this app that you're meant to send your results to. So I ended up phoning Craigavon Hospital, and I asked them, I explained the predicament to them. We're trying to get in to see Spider-Man No Way Home here, and they won't let us in because we have to go through you guys to send the COVID results to you. Can you tell me the name of the app so I can download it on my phone? So the lady was very nice and understanding, and for the life could not give me the name of the app. I don't even know if there is an app or not, but gave us keywords to type into Google to find a website. And there was loads of different websites, and because we were stuck for time, the movie was going to start in a few minutes. We didn't have time to go through them all. So the lady actually read out the URL of the site that we were meant to be on. So he entered it, and I put her on loudspeaker on my phone. She read out each character you meant to put in. He entered that into his phone, and then realised, after we found what we were looking for, that the lateral flow test he had didn't have a QR code on it. We were told that you're meant to take a picture of it and send it to the NHS. The website is asking for a QR code, which his testing kit did not have. So we brought the test to the staff and showed them it's come up negative, and they still said we can't accept that there. Now, I don't mean any harm. Now, I'm not going to fault the staff at the Omniplex. They're just doing their job. Somebody in the upper management has made this decision, so they have to follow through, or they're in trouble. I understand that. I respect that. They may not like it, but they have to do what they have to do. They also said that we weren't the first ones they turned away. I even said to them, if I wanted to, could I go in? They said yes. I could have just left my friend out there, but I couldn't. I basically said to them, if he's not going in, neither am I. Said that's okay. So after they seen the test, they're like, nope, we can't accept that, we can't. The best thing we can do for you is give you a refund. And Richard said to them, we didn't know about this, that you had to send your COVID test to the NHS. So the other staff member came out, he was a manager, and he basically said, what we can do in order to compromise, if you can go up to Boots Chemist in Rushmere, buy a COVID testing kit that has a QR code on it, do the test, send it to the NHS, and we'll put you into the next screening. So we make our way in, go to the pharmacy, and we explain to them, and luckily enough, they actually did have a COVID testing kit with a QR code on it that we needed. We got the test out of Boots. And then we go outside of Rushmere, and Richard has to make an account, register online in order to send the test. So he tries to make the account and had issues getting the verification to come through because it was going through a spam email, junk folder you want to call it, and it was also asking him for documentation that he didn't have on him, like photographic ID, like passports and stuff like that there. Like, who carries all that on them everywhere?
Am I still my fucking timer now?
Alright. If we get this test, if he gets his test and it comes back negative, which it should, because the first one came back negative, and then goes through the NHS and they approve of it, we can go into the next viewing, which is like after 9 or so. So I told him, try to do it without creating an account, which luckily was possible. So here we are, sitting outside Craigavon, Rushmere, and he's taking a COVID test. This is how dedicated we are to going to see Spider-Man. We really want to see it. Taking a COVID test in the streets. He took the test, and again, it came back negative. Took a photograph of that test as well. So he's taking the test, and now we just need to scan the barcode and send it off. If this doesn't work, if you can't get a way of sending it off, we're not getting in. So I think we can see. And then we went back down to the Omniplex, and he shows it to the staff, and they basically like, okay, we still can't accept that there because he has to go on through the NHS. The problem here is that the website was asking for his national health number, HNS or something you call it. If that makes sense. Basically, every registered patient in the UK has a national health number, and again, who carries that on them all the time? So I suggested to Richard, why don't we phone out of ours and ask if they can access that for us? And he said, no, they can't do that. You have to go in your GP. Now, data protection would work differently in certain places, but I was not giving up. And most of the night, I was actually pretty optimistic that we were going to get in to see the movie. I wasn't going to give up so easily. My mate was stressed out because this was the only chance he had to go see it, and I had to be somewhere else the next day, so we couldn't have went to see it the next day. Even if he had got that all sorted, we couldn't have. So what we did then, I decided to phone out of ours, and I just explained the situation to them, and they basically said, I asked them if I put my mate on the phone and he gives you the correct details, would you be able to hand him over his national health number and to put me through the medical records and explain to him? And he's like, well, sure, we can try. And then I had to force the phone into my friend's hand, I had to force it, tell him, try this, it's our last chance. And we were so close because the movie, the next screen, was literally minutes away from starting. So he gives the guy his personal information, all he needed, and then I walk away, rolling out of smoke, and then I see that my mate Richard is got his phone and he's punching numbers in, and I knew right there and then, yes, we've got it, we're going to be in now. So he enters that into the app, what the website you want to call it, and then it asks him for his mobile number. He enters that in, it says it doesn't recognise the number, and the silly thing about that was that there had to be a gap, and he didn't put the gap. So you had to enter your mobile number in once, and then there's not space bar. There's another box underneath it, and you had to write your number in again. And because he had a space in the first one or something, he had to make sure he had that exact same space in the second box. How ridiculous is that? And then he sends it on, it goes through, and it took about maybe a minute or so, 2 minutes. We didn't even know how long this was going to take, for the NHS to get back to us for this. We didn't know, but we decided, to give it our best shot. NHS gets back to us, sends him the text message saying, your COVID test has come back negative and all that there jargon that they have. He shows it to the staff, and they were actually really happy for us. I was happier, and as soon as we got in, into the screening room, the Marvel logo had already started playing. We literally got in at the last second, and we didn't miss any of it. Meanwhile, before that, I actually have a group of friends who went to the Banbridge in Ivea, and they were able to get into the cinema, and they didn't have that problem. The Ivea didn't ask them, you have to send your COVID test to the NHS and have them come back to confirm or deny if the test was positive or negative. What is this? Seriously? That's a joke. By the way, the Ivea is cheaper as well. The reason I'm making this vlog is to let people know, because a lot of people were turned away, and we were almost turned away until we actually fought tooth and nail to get back in. But anybody that's going to go to the Omniplex, that's what they're doing. And allegedly, there's other places doing that as well, where they've got that new policy put in that you have to, even if you are triple vaccinated and you've got your ID on you, even if you have done the lateral flow test, you have to put that through to the NHS. Make sure your lateral flow test has the QR code on it. You scan that with your phone and then send it on. Wait for them to give you a response. What is this? Even though we took the test twice. My fair play to the staff that were at the door. In a way I felt sorry for them because, I knew you could tell they really wanted to let us in. They really did. I liked them. They're under a lot of pressure as well. They didn't particularly like turning us away. They really didn't like doing it, but orders are orders. So if you're going to go to the Omniplex, don't be surprised if you have that coming at you. And the person whoever made that decision, what are you doing? What are you actually doing? That's a joke. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Are we in? I'm not going to film you, don't worry.
That on? That's fine.
Oh, we're in. We're in. Are we in?
Take a video.
Thank you. Oh, there we go. We're seeing the movie.